This piece of plywood solves the one and most important factor in keeping your chickens warm outside in cold Canadian winters. So I have a bit of a problem. Problem is they won't go inside. I haven't quite figured that out, but why that is just yet. However, I do happen to notice that they sleep here at night, and they're quite cozy. The ground is packed full of leaves, and although it's frozen outside, solid, it remains quite soft on the inside, and you might even be able to see that they're still digging some holes here and there. So given that it's their preference to stay outside, how is it that I keep my chickens warm in the winter? So the biggest concern here is draft, right? So I have a pretty solid hedge behind me. Not a lot of wind comes from what would be the northern direction, actually, because the hedge is quite solid. And then there's this front area, which also has a lot of draft. Two things that chickens can't stand is moisture and a lot of draft. So I think what I have going on here with this piece of this piece of plywood, is I'm cutting off a lot of wind to where they naturally want to stay outside. And last night I think it was minus 23 or 24 degrees Celsius, and they're just fine. You know, there's what I happen to notice is they kind of get down there, they huddle in on the ground, which is a bit unusual. But I think what they're doing also is they are on a mound of compost. That is typically where I dump my food scraps, and as a result, I think what happens is that the ground never really freezes solid, and generates a little bit of low-level heat. So I think maybe their preference for being out here is actually because they want to be on the nice warm compost, and it might actually be relatively warmer even on those cold nights to what they have inside. So to ensure that they are alive and well and happy, I've used this piece of plywood to cut down on the one and deadly factor, and that is draft. Okay, so by installing this piece of plywood, to keep it up, I've just sort of drilled a little hole and then made a string and then attached it to my fence so that it can't blow over. And that really should cut down the major factor that is risk for their health, which is the draft. The other factor would be moisture, but they're quite dry and happy in here, so I'm not concerned about that. So yeah, so this is our setup. This is what we use to keep them warm and happy, considering their preference.